It's time to swarm the 402. Welcome to the Nebraska Hawks. These guys are brave. They're Hawkeyes living in enemy territory. Listen, these guys are way past their prime, but they're still Hawkeyes. They're spreading the Hawkeye hype to all of Nebraska. The frost advisory is canceled. Corn Huskers, more like corn suckers. Are you ready for this podcast? Let's go Hawks!
All right, welcome back to the Nebraska Hawks Nest, your Hawkeye oasis located in a Nebraska desert. Make sure you take time, hit that like and subscribe button. We always tell you, Jerry gets super agitated if we don't continue to grow. So do it for me if you like this podcast. All right, coming to us today, I'm jacked about this one. The Corn Belt Cowboy, the one called Manders. Steve Manders, welcome to the Nebraska Hawks Nest, man. We are so excited to have you.
What's up, Adam? How are you? Yeah, that video is pretty sweet. Is that your kid?
No, it's not my kid. We have a little caption at the bottom that says "Not our kid." They had him. He's called the Hawkeye Hype Kid. He was like on the videos at Kinnick, so like he completely redid George Kittle.
Okay.
It's him.
All right.
Yeah. So we get asked that like all the
sick.
time.
Yeah, he's sick. I was laughing. That was funny.
He's a cool kid. That kid has so much charisma. It's not even funny. But he
really does.
Speaking of charisma, the Corn Belt Cowboy now. Steve, for those that don't know, some Hawkeye fans will know who you are. Some professional wrestling fans will know who you are. We were having a conversation with Henry Krieger Coble, and he said, if you want a hell of an interview, there's a man by the name of Steve Manders you need to reach out to. And at that time, I looked you up, and I had seen some of your matches, just clips before, and I was hooked, man. Like, your matches are super entertaining. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Krieger Coble and why he told us to reach out to you.
Oh, God. Me and Hank go way back. We were roommates, and he played tight end. I was a fullback, so you get that like connection a little bit. And yeah, me and Hank we used to hang out a lot and stuff. And he's a piece of work. So I don't know why he said that to you. I don't think I'm that entertaining, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, no, he's great. I love Hank. Hank rules.
Man, you're definitely entertaining in the ring. I'll tell you that. So anybody that hasn't had a chance to watch any of your matches, get online. Check out the Corn Belt Cowboy. They are freaking sweet matches. Now, give us a little bit of background for the Hawkeye fans initially about your journey coming out of high school, playing high school football, and joining the Iowa Hawkeyes, I believe, as a walk-on. You came out of, I believe, Fork Union Military Academy.
Yeah, so I grew up in Maryland and all that stuff, and then I went to Archbishop Spalding High School. I was all state, all that stuff, like as any player, any good player, I guess, would be, where, you play Division I football or whatever. But anyway, I went to, I didn't have my whole goal in life was like, or, as a young kid was like, I always wanted to play college football. And I didn't really have like really big time offers that I wanted or any interest whatsoever. It was a lot of like Division I AA and stuff like that. So I went to this school called Fork Union Military Academy. It's out in Virginia. It's kind of near Charlottesville or think it's what it's called, where it's where the University of Virginia is, and man, they have some great players there. Like when I was there, they had Christian Hackenberg. He went on and played Penn State, played for the Jets for a little bit, and then like they had guys like Eddie George and Vinny Testaverde and like just a bunch of NFL names that were pretty good. But I went out there or whatever, and worked my tail off, and then I was gonna go to Virginia at the time, and then there's a guy I'm sure a lot of people remember if you're like a Hawk fan or whatever. This guy's coach named Coach Jim Reed. He was the D coordinator at the time at Virginia, and he got fired, and he got hired at Iowa to coach linebackers, and he was like kind of my recruiting coach at Virginia. And basically, when he got fired or whatever, I was kind of like no longer like, I guess, was gonna go there. So then
Not on the radar anymore.
Yeah, I kind of wasn't on the radar anymore. And then it's just, you know how that goes, right, with recruiting, and then your guys and their guys and all that stuff. But anyway, he got hired at Iowa as linebackers coach, and then he was like, "What do you think about Iowa?" And I've as a kid, I remember watching them all the time, and they're always like a hard-nosed football team, and that's kind of how I played and kind of how I was. So, I went out there, took a visit, whatever, absolutely loved it, and then they wanted me as a walk-on, which at Iowa, that's kind of an important big deal, I guess. So, went out there, and kind of the rest is history.
Steve, how did you get the love for professional wrestling? Is this something that you've been into since you were a kid? And at what point in your life did you decide you were really going to give this a run?
Yeah, I've always loved pro wrestling. I was a little kid, about 5 or 6, whatever. I remember watching like 2000, 2001, like WWF. You see like Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, and like Kurt Angle and stuff. So like I guess in wrestling, it's the Attitude Era peak where maybe your kids are maybe not your kids, maybe your kids should watch it, and then maybe your parents, maybe not a lot of parents were very fan of it, but it was very.
It's like every time my parents
PG-13. Yeah.
Every time my parents would walk in the room, Sable would be on the screen, like half undressed.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dang it!
yeah.
Get out of here.
Sable's a pretty good looking girl.
Yeah.
So I liked it when I was a kid. And I was always into it, and I kind of got away from it probably around high school because once I was 14 through 18, I was really worried about football, lifting weights, and girls. So
yeah,
it's kind of just how it goes. And I think around like 2015 is when like the network for WWE came out, where because everybody was on switching to streaming services, and like cable TV is kind of obsolete, all that stuff. So I started watching some of like the old stuff, like some of the WCW and then the WWF and everything on their streaming service. And it was pretty sweet, actually. It's basically like a library of like all these videos, all the pay-per-views, whatever, documentaries, all that sweet stuff. And it was kind of sweet. And basically that launch of it in 2015. So this is 2015. So I was a junior, and that was the Rose Bowl year. So that's kind of when I started coming back to like watching wrestling. So I watch Raw and SmackDown, and I was so fascinated by it or whatever. So I started getting into the cuts of like, you see some of the indie stuff, and I remember like watching TNA, and like I remember that was always cool because I always liked Sting too and stuff. And I guess basically so around there I started watching it all, and then. Like it's like the entertainment aspect of it. The characters are larger than life, so like you try to like apply that to football, and like you try to be an entertainer, and not even entertaining, like not like laughing and having fun, but like just amping your team up and stuff like that. So I wasn't like a big time starter at Iowa, like I wasn't a big name or anything like that. So I was trying to find other ways besides, if I can't play every snap. Right, I'll at least be amp up the team in practice, and some of the practices were kind of like my game days and stuff like that. So I think it just like caught wind and stuff, and At the time, Coach Doyle was, he was a big wrestling fan too. So he was, he knew I liked wrestling. So I think one of the days was like my senior year. It was like I was trying to finish one of my exams or something, and he said, "Hey, Tori Ewan's going to come by today, and in the wrestling world, he's Big E, and he played football at Iowa, for the Hawk fans and stuff." And yeah, like I met him at the training facility or whatever at the lifting area, and he was telling me about, hey, there's this school called Black and Brave, which is down in Davenport, Iowa, trained by Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave. And for those that don't know, Seth Rollins is a WWE superstar, and Merrick Brave was like a pretty top indie name, top in the wrestling world. So that's kind of how it all started. It was Big E, and just the network being a thing.
Would you say Big E and Seth Rollins are two of your biggest influences in your career so far? And are there some other guys that have really influenced you along the way?
Yeah, I would say those two were like your first initial, right? But then, like Merrick Brave's a really big one, right? He was kind of like the daily operations at the school, and he's just a big mentor as a coach, and just teaching you like, why does this work? Why doesn't this work? What you could do, what could you not do? I would say like those three, and there's other guys along the way that you meet, right, that help you out, like Sammy Callahan's a guy that when I was living in Ohio, trying to be a better wrestler, I was wrestling like 6-7 days of the week, and having his back and kind of learning like some of the stuff from him too was pretty helpful. So I'd say those four guys, really.
So tell us a little bit about the Corn Belt Cowboy gimmick, like how that came to be. And I love the Bon Jovi entrance theme when you come to the ring. It's super cool. I love it. How did that whole gimmick get started? Where did that idea come from?
So when I was a little kid, right, I used to always love Westerns, and I used to always love how, just how like cool like John Wayne was, right? And my mom used to always say I was an old soul, so like, I mean, I feel like for those generations, right, that were wanted to be cowboys and love John Wayne was probably around my mom's era. I feel like, I guess. I mean, maybe when you were a kid too. I don't know. I'm not saying you're older like that, but like for me, like it's not like
I'm 40 now. I'm old.
I mean, like for me, right, for like a young generation kid, I guess like a lot of people like they just don't like kind of Westerns are kind of long gone, right? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, my point though is, so I was doing a different gimmick, right? Like I was doing like the Hawkeye Steve Manders. It was basically like me, just being like a Letterman, basically, because like that's actually like is actually true, right? Like, I did do all these things, right? So, I just like I don't know. I think it was like a good platform for it, and then I think I was evolving as a person. Right, I moved to Ohio, right, which is I've never even lived in Ohio, not even from Ohio or anything, and I was basically out of my element, right, and like I was driving up and down, I was basically being like a roadie, but also too just wrestling all the time, and that's kind of like how the business works. It's very similar to like being like a country music star, or like just being in the music scene, or whatever may have you or whatever, and I was just evolving as a human, and I think I was just like there were some things that were like I was burning out with, right? Like I felt like like I was in a relationship at the time and it wasn't working, and like I was struggling a lot, and all that stuff. And I asked Merrick one day. I was just saying like I think I was just looking up like history, right? Like I was like Niall Kinnick, and Niall Kinnick's nickname at the time was Corn Belt Comet, and I was like, damn, that's pretty cool, right? I was thinking like alliteration, stuff like that, because, I think I was watching Sandlot too, and how like they say like the Sultan of Swing, the Colossal Clout, all that stuff. So I loved it, and then Merrick was like, I'll wrap this all up here. Merrick was just like, oh, you're only sharing like 4 or 5 years of your life as the Hawkeye. Like, what if you share like at the time I was 25, the 25 years of your life? And I just feel like this is what I'm doing. I'm driving so freaking much. I'm I'm literally hitting another highway, another town, right? And there's
Mm-hmm.
all my influences of what I like, and I always wanted to be like a. I always loved westerns, and I always loved country music, and I'm a hard nosed guy, but also
Yeah.
too like it just kind of all just hit me at once, and then one day I was driving somewhere, and I was like, oh my god, it's the Corn Belt Cowboy. Like I think that'd be sweet. And then it
It
just
is.
kind of was like, all right, how do you? And then it's just like, okay, how do you sprinkle in the rest, right? So like I was coming out still in my Letterman and like and and chaps and stuff, and um like my mom has like chickens and stuff, and we live in a rural area like back in Maryland, so like it was always like it was just something in me, I guess, and I don't know, I just thought it was cool, and then it just kind of just that's kind of how it all worked out, right? So
It's such a
um
cool nickname. It's like one of my favorites
yeah,
in the wrestling industry as a whole. But after I watched like just even like 2 or 3 of your matches, I'm like, this is like an old school like Bradshaw meets Stone Cold Steve Austin type of character. Like I don't
yeah,
know if you
like
remember Bradshaw from the Smoking Guns.
yeah, yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, turned to JBL later in life.
Yeah, JBL ruled, man. Like he was a tough SOB. Another guy that I like to watch a lot is Stan Hansen. He's
Okay,
like an old throwback dude. He was super big in like Japanese wrestling. Um, he was trained by the Funks,
yeah,
like Terry, like yeah, like I guess if we want to look at like influences besides, so like John Wayne's a big influence now, Kink's a big influence. Um, trying to think who else. Like there's this new guy. His name's Coulter Wall. I don't know if you're big into country music. Um, God, he's like one of my favorites. So like he was like a
okay.
um big favorite guy. I don't know if anybody's heard of him or if you've heard of him. Take a look if you like country music. Um, there's a bunch of guys like that, but yeah, like Stan Hansen was one. Like Terry Funk, Stone Cold. So like obviously I knew who Stone Cold was, and I remember somewhat of like Stan Hansen stuff when I was like a fan
Yeah.
when I was a kid, and but obviously as you start wrestling, right, you start studying other people and
Mm-hmm.
seeing like what's good. Another guy that I was interested in a lot was the hell's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now. His
Uh-oh.
museum's in LeClaire, Iowa.
Oh, okay. Oh God, I can't think of his. Okay,
Buffalo Bill.
okay,
Yeah, so like that's another dude. He was basically like a cowboy, and he's like kind of the reason why Western movies were like ever created because he was doing like live Western movies around the
okay.
country. So I thought that was kind of sweet. So that's kind of how it all like hit me. It was like kind of doing these like similar things anyway, and then it just like I was like, oh my god, this is what this is. So there you go.
I love like all the influences that you've kind of just morphed into one and then made it your own. It's an
Yeah,
original, and that type of gimmick, like what you're doing, you're putting your own twist on it, and it's not being done right now. Like that gimmick was hot in like the 70s, 80s, and then you got a
yeah,
little bit of it in the
exactly.
90s, and it's gone away, and you've modernized it and made it really cool. And you could tell, like just from watching it in the matches, the fans dig it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was like when I go in on something, I really like put my all my effort in it. So I was really like looking. It sucks, right? Because I really don't like looking at my phone, but you gotta like see Twitter and Instagram and social media to understand like who certain people are and all that stuff. And me just I was driving so goddamn much and I was wrestling so many damn places at the time. It's like 2018. I was like, man, I don't see any of this like cowboy gimmick at all. There's only like one
No,
guy, and he's on AEW right now. His name's Hangman Page, and
he's awesome.
yeah, he's awesome. And even his stuff is like a little different too, or it's not
Yeah.
even a little different. It's kind of way different, but it still like goes to that Western character. But yeah, it's like you said, like no one's really doing it, and it's kind of funny now as of late the last like few years I've started to see more people like cowboy stuff and cowboy hats, and so I thought that's a little interesting as the years have gone by, but whatever, but it's all good. I'm just happy like the Western spirit is still alive, and
Oh yeah.
so it's pretty sweet.
All right, Steve. You're in the. We're gonna do a hypothetical here. It's an old school Survivor Series match. You're the captain of the team, okay? 4 people.
Okay.
So you're the captain, so you can get 3 guys. Who are the 3 other guys you're going to bring onto your Survivor Series team?
So are we doing a 4-on-4? Or are we doing a 5-on-5?
Yep. 4-on-4. If you want, you can do 5-on-5 if it works out.
I can easily do 5-on-5.
Okay, do
I
5.
can pick 4 people on the top of my head.
Because they've done both. They've done 4-on-4 and 5-on-5.
Yeah, right. God, there's a lot of guys, right? But I guess my to like tie it up into like the similar characters. I guess the 4 I would pick would be Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody.
Ooh.
Yeah, Bruiser Brody's great. I don't know if you ever seen The Dark Side of the Ring. You ever heard of that?
I have. I've watched them all.
That documentary on him is pretty wild.
I just watched the Luna one yesterday, the Luna Vashon one.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. Is it good?
It's pretty good. Yeah. They're getting pretty obscure with a lot of them now. It's like I love them, but I'm like, okay, the average wrestling fan's not going to know anything about any of this stuff. But it's interesting stuff for sure.
Pretty deep. Gets pretty deep. There's some messed up things. Okay, so I said Hansen, Bruiser Brody.
Yep.
God.
Maybe like a tag team.
Well, I guess they were kind of a tag team at one time for a little bit.
They were. Okay, yeah.
They were. Yeah, they kind of were like in All Japan. I guess my 2 would be I'm just gonna say it's gonna be Terry Funk and Stone Cold. Those are my 4. And then me,
okay.
But I wish in consideration I would put Abdullah the Butcher, but those are my 4 though. I guess honorable mention would be Abdullah the Butcher. So.
That's gonna be a bloody match at the end of it. Like people are gonna bleed.
No one would mess with us. I don't think so.
No, that would have to be a hardcore Survivor Series match because if it was like a standard rules, you guys would get disqualified so quick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so those would be my 4 plus me, I guess. If I took myself out just to have a dream, it would be Abdullah the Butcher. Those would be my 5.
Okay.
So that's a scary 5 I would not want to mess with.
That is a scary team. I would love to watch that though. That would be like a good Extreme Rules match right there with all you guys together.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're gonna twist it a little bit here. You're a Survivor Series team, but you got to pick former Hawkeyes. Who would you compile your team up of former Hawkeyes?
Oh shit.
I figured you'd probably want Kittle in there somewhere.
He's kind of a wuss though, so I don't know if I.
Is he?
No.
All right, George, did you hear it?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course I have George. So it's me, George. I would say Drew Ott.
Beau Bauer. Oh, Drew Ott. Okay.
I would say Drew Ott because like Drew. I told Drew he'd be a great wrestler because especially at the time when he had a mullet, he was so good at it. But he's fun. He's having fun farming. So I would say Beau Bauer. Beau Bauer's a tough SOB. I got crazy stories with that guy. I don't know if I could share on here, but
you can absolutely share them on here. I want to hear them.
What's another one? God, see, here's the thing. There's so many guys, right? It's so hard to like. Who would I pick as the 4th one? I guess I'd pick Josie Jewell.
Okay.
Yeah, just because he's a badass too.
That's a tough team.
There's so many guys though. Yeah, that's a tough team. But like, there's other guys I can think of. Like, there's like Nate Meyer. Like Nate Meyer was a scrappy SOB. Now I want to mess with him. Like Jaleel Johnson was another dude. I used to fight with Jaleel every freaking practice, and I don't know why I wanted to, but I did. It was not a good idea every time, but I always did. We used to always get in fights all the time because I'd have to block him or like I'd run the ball and he would. Yeah, it was crazy. God, who else?
I think we can.
Yeah, I would just say those.
That's a good team. So we're gonna have to segue into Tell me your top Beau Bauer story, because we've had Beau on the podcast before, and he actually recommended that we interview you too. Beau was an awesome interview, and we've stayed in semi-regular touch with him. He's a great guy, but hey, this is no rules. Let's hear it. Let's hear a Beau Bauer story, a real juicy one.
I'm thinking.
Because the Paulson twins told us some real wild ones, like the off air, that some things that like at Drew's bachelor party and stuff like that can't really be repeated on air. So.
Oh God! I wasn't there, but I heard about those. Those are pretty wild.
It's probably good you weren't.
I can't remember like one specifically, but like. I mean, Duke could drink, Duke could party. He's got 250 cals at home, right? Like we used to like shoot those and like blow it up with tannerite. And like apparently I guess like with this 50 cal guns or whatever, like he's like on like the American watch list for like just in case. Yeah, like
that's awesome.
Like his dude's like he's a legend. Let me see. I mean, there was like this one time we went to spring break. We went to Gulf Shores, Alabama, and we drove there, right? So that's like 12 hours, I think. It might be longer. And
it's a long one.
The bottom tip of Alabama, which I was actually in Alabama last week. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, we drove down with like Beau's like F-350, and I'm just like this is so expensive, and we were out like drinking, partying, and having a good time, and we were at this bar. It was called the Florida Bama, so it's like on the border of Florida and Alabama, and this is like a big bar where like Kenny Chesney and like I guess a bunch of people go. It's got like different rooms, right? So it's got like each section has like a mini concert, and we were in one of the rooms we were in. They had a string line of like bras. I mean, like bras that girls like took off voluntarily, put it in on this string, and I guess one of the oldest ones was like from like 1982 or something.
Wow!
And Beau freaking grabbed one of them and he put it around his head. Like it's just like the guy's great. So I don't know.
He's an awesome guy. He was at I don't know if you saw the video. He was at a country music concert like a few years back and like climbed up on stage and started dancing with the lady that was performing. And we played it during our interview with him. I can't remember who it was.
It was Back Porch Revival.
Okay.
Oh, no,
okay.
It wasn't.
Yep.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I know exactly what you're talking about. What's her name? It's not like Miranda Lambert or something like that, but it was somebody along those lines.
Okay.
I did see the video though. The video is pretty savage. There was one time though,
cool.
we were at the Back Porch Revival, and like we were all backstage with Beathard, and that was pretty dope. And we got on stage when Tucker Beathard played. But no, I know exactly the one you're talking about though. I forget her name. Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty sweet.
It was pretty cool. All right, so for all the Hawkeye fans out there and the wrestling fans, we want to give everyone a little clip of some of your action in the ring so they can see a little bit of this firsthand. So we're gonna play a quick little video here. The Corn Belt Cowboy, baby. Dude, that's got me jacked up. That was so awesome. Did you knew
that's
that
like,
video?
That's old.
That's
That's an
old?
old video. Yeah, that's a really
Oh.
old video. That's like
Oh.
when I like first started. You gotta see the new stuff now. Yeah.
We got to get a new video out there to everybody. We posted a few of your matches on our social media here recently. So I wanted to ask you, so right now, currently, like, what are you using as a finishing move right now?
So there's like, I have this like theory. I don't use more than just one move. There's like three I use.
Okay.
It just varies on like certain styles and certain people. It's either the Iowa Stampede or it's the Lariat, and then with the Iowa Stampede, I either do it like a running one, like running turnbuckle, and you do a running power slam, or I do it
Okay.
off the second rope. So it's like an avalanche
All
Iowa
right.
Stampede. That's what they would
You're
call
pretty
it. So
you're pretty versatile, man. There's not a lot you can't do. I was gonna ask you too, just and as far as like maybe, a hardcore match, getting the tables out, getting the thumbtacks out, the kendo sticks, all the fun toys, the garbage can lids. I saw you wheeling out some toys in one of those videos. What's the most gruesome match you've ever been involved in?
So like that video you saw there, that was mostly, or not mostly at all, it was all just, that was like the old gimmick where it was like the Hawkeye Steve Manders, and not too long after those videos though, I started doing the Corn Belt Cowboy gimmick, and oh yeah, I guess to answer that question, so like I don't know, so like the indie scene, the independent wrestling scene is a little weird, right? So like when you start getting in depth with like super hardcore fans and super hardcore wrestling, and I don't mean like hardcore like using weapons, like being like really in like the business aspect of it, right? Where like there might, there's guys like me or other guys, right, that are like, you might not know who they are. Like I remember like they did the Dark Side of the Ring with Nick Gage, right? And
Yeah,
like a lot of people don't know who the hell Nick Gage is, and
they do now.
they do now, right? Like
Yeah,
like GCW and everything's like is popping off pretty sweet, and
the pizza cutter.
yeah, and I've been lucky to be a part of some of that stuff, and I've wrestled Gage a bunch of times, and it gets crazy, right? Like there's like certain levels to like hardcore wrestling where like, you do like the, just regular tables and you do chairs, right? So like there's that stuff. And then like you can get into like kendo sticks and just like a bunch of hardware. And then it gets even crazier where you can do like some of the stuff from like ECW, or if you watch old CZW or GCW where it's barbed wire and then it's glass, and like you use panes of glass and thumbtacks and light tubes. So
What hurts the most?
I've done some of that stuff before. So like recently I've done more of some of the deathmatch stuff, which includes like glass and stuff, and that's kind of crazy, right? To the average person or just in general, people are like, "What the hell are you doing?" But it's just another version of the sport. It's another genre of the sport, right? It's like a movie, right? And I mean, I don't know, like barbed wire and glass is pretty. It hurts. So I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so, I can't tell you which one's worse. They're both not very pleasant. So
The barbed wire looks unbelievably painful, like, and the
well,
thumbtacks
so
look
like
pretty
barbed
pretty bad
wire.
too.
So thumbtacks aren't so bad, right? So they poke you, right? But you can at least take it out. Where like
Yeah.
sometimes with glass, glass is unpredictable, so you don't know where it's gonna go. So and it's unpredictable, right? So it can slice you in any way. It can slice you bad, it can slice you not so bad or not at all, whatever, you don't know. Barbed wire, it's kind of like once it pokes in you, it pokes and pulls, so it's not, none of it's great. So and why do you do it?
Steve,
I don't know.
I,
Some of the entertainment, I guess.
I wanted to get your thoughts as someone that's really coming up through the independent scene, and just you're really paying your dues at this point. And in professional wrestling, it's not one of those industries where like boom, you're famous and you make it. Like you got to pay your dues and work your way up, and
Yeah.
it takes a long time. What is it? How does it feel when you hear the general public or people say that pro wrestling is fake and it's a scam. How does that make you feel?
There's not like a clear cut answer how I feel. I guess basically like at the end of the day, like I don't really give a shit, right? I do what I love and I do it for a reason. But I mean, I just tell those people, right? Like it's just like when you watch a show, right? Like if we watch, I don't know, if we watch like it could be any show, right? If we watch like a show, it's not actually real at the moment in time, right? So like, people are playing characters and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like anything, right? So, it's basically like the modern version of Shakespeare in a way.
With violence.
Yeah, with violence.
Well, anybody that says it's fake, get in the ring and experience it. Like, because the only thing is, like, it's got the predetermined outcome. And I think it was Eric Bischoff said this one time, and I thought it was really well said that he said, I don't worry about people that say it's fake because those aren't the people we're trying to entertain. You're not going to change their mind. If they're going to have that thought in their head, then go do something else. But we're here to entertain the people that are fans of pro wrestling. And I always try to tell everybody too, like, my description of it is it's almost like a choreographed, type of, dance, or like, you go watch a movie, there's violence in a movie, things like that happen in a movie. It's essentially, you're telling a story out there and you're getting so many different aspects of entertainment. You're getting drama, you're getting violence, you're getting athleticism. To say that these guys aren't great athletes, you're not educated to the sport of pro wrestling.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on, and same with Eric Bischoff saying that's pretty spot on. So yeah, I would just go with that. Yeah, I try to pay attention to that stuff. I don't really give a shit. Like sometimes when I'm out around or whatever, and some people ask about it, I just try to give them like the general like answer that I give. I was like, oh, it's just like watching a TV show. It's kind of how I say it, and then after that, I just kind of just go about my time and moment with it. So
yeah, if they don't get it, most of the time they're never going to get it. I tried for a long time being like, okay, you're going to watch this match. It's Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys in a triple threat ladder match. If you don't like this, you're stupid. And they never like it. They think it's bad. I'm like, okay, you just don't get it. Then I can't help you.
All those matches were pretty good too. They're like they revolutionized like that, like certain style, right? Like that. So
yeah, those matches were great. So for the Corn Belt Cowboy, what's the end game, Steve? Like, what is the ultimate goal? Because I'm sure when you're grinding and you're on the road and you're working, you have somewhere at the end of the day where you'd like to be, whether it be Impact Wrestling, AEW, WWE, New Japan. Like, there's a lot of great options if you're a wrestler out there right now. What would be your ideal a place to end up for your career?
God, I guess I got two answers for you. Like, I think being in Japan would be pretty sweet. And I think it's cool, right? Where like I can write my own path and do my own thing. I don't need people to tell me what to do. I think that's pretty cool. And I guess that's all that really matters. But then the other side of it is like, I guess that's like my heart saying that, right? And then my brain saying, as long as the dollar signs make sense, like it doesn't matter what the three letters are. So, so like, I mean, obviously it'd be cool to wrestle in WWE. It'd be cool to wrestle in AEW and stuff like that. And I've had a WWE try out before, and it was fun. And they liked me a lot, and like all that stuff. It's just how it goes. You just gotta keep grinding and just not think about it. And so
if you go to WWE, they're gonna change your name. They're gonna change everything about you, and like change your whole gimmick and stuff like that.
And sometimes it's not. You never know, right? So you never know where the future holds you. So
I just really see the Corn Belt Cowboy going over huge in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like they love
Yeah,
that kind of
that'd be
stuff over
sweet.
there. It's such a, they get excited about the different American gimmicks. And when they come over, there's guys have a lot of success over there. And whenever you talk to them, the
Oh
guys
yeah.
are like, Japan's amazing. Like they treat you like a god over there because pro wrestling is like the NFL here. Like it's huge. And those guys are
Yeah.
worshipped. And I was just thinking today, like where would be a cool place for Steve to end up someday, like when he gets that
Yeah,
end
that'd be
point.
sweet.
New Japan, I think he would just be hugely popular, and those fans would go nuts for that gimmick.
Yeah, I think it'd be sweet. I got to wrestle a couple of New Japan like Americans, I guess you could say. I've gotten to wrestle some people that work in New Japan that are signed there recently, and that's pretty sweet. And yeah, and I think that would totally that'd be the sweet end game. Um, that's the thing. That's the thing. A lot about like Japanese wrestling. Like a lot of like back in the old days, like WWF and New Japan used to have a pretty strong relationship. So like there's like shows like on YouTube and some of it that was on the network when the network was around, where like they had matches where like it's like it's Vince McMahon like commentating, and then it's like
Yeah.
Vince McMahon Senior like booking with Antonio Inoki, and like Hulk Hogan's over there with the WWF title. So like it's kind of sweet. So.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it'd be cool.
speaking of titles, now I think we tweeted out to you on social media the Corn Belt for the Heroes game, that championship belt that I have hanging back. Or it's actually back here behind me on the wall.
Yeah, I see it right there. Yeah, that belt's sweet.
We need to get that to you to take out to the ring sometime. So if you're ever in Nebraska or Western Iowa wrestling, that's a full legit thing. Like that's a legitimate belt maker. That thing weighs like 8 or 9 pounds. It's huge.
It looks legit. Yeah. God, I haven't been to. I was in Omaha in the summer, for a show, but I don't think the company runs anymore. So
They have like, was it Magnum
I
Pro
figure that.
Wrestling? I know they
Yeah,
have
Magnum Pro Wrestling. Yep.
yeah, they got a pretty good operation. So I mean, if you're looking for a manager, I can
Yeah,
be
I
there
got
for you, man.
I got you. Yeah.
I can put the bolo on. I can put whatever the chaps on. I could do the whole thing. Get some cowboy boots. Walk you to the ring because
That's great.
I can cut a promo with the best of them, Steve.
I love it. Yeah, you go right for it. Yeah,
And
we'll figure something out.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. We're going to get you the Corn Belt too, man. But I just wanted to thank you. We've been taking up a lot of your night. We're huge fans. Where's the best place for all the Hawkeye fans out there to be able to watch some of your matches and watch you go out there and kind of do your thing?
Shoot, yeah, like if you guys have Twitter or Instagram, you can follow me at the number one called _Manders. If you type in Manders of the West, that might be easy too.
Okay.
Facebook, if you type in Manders or Corn Belt Cowboy, it'll come up. And then, God, I got a bunch of stuff, right? Like, if you're looking for shirts,
Yeah.
just message me, just hit me up. Like, I got this Manders hat right here, this camo Manders
Nice.
hat. It's pretty dope. I got a bunch, right? So if you hit me up, I'll give you one, Adam, for sure. Just send me your address.
We'll do a swap.
Yeah,
I'll send you one of these too. We got a Nebraska Hawks shirt for you too.
Yeah, I totally wear one of those. And yeah, like if you just hit me up, I'll send you guys like certain links of T-shirts, and I got a bunch of websites that I have. So if whatever you're interested in, I got it. So
yeah, message them over to me. Message them over to me, and we'll share them out on our social media. But I definitely would take a T-shirt. I'd wear that all the time, man.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. I got a bunch. So.
All right, you got some matches coming up. Where'd you say you were going next for your next event?
So Friday I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna fly back to Nashville because I have a show in Nashville Sunday, and then I'm gonna drive home. So I got some boys coming down in Nashville. Some wrestlers.
Okay.
So you get like a carpool connection and all that
okay.
stuff. So yeah, so that's where I am. That's where I'm that week. The next week I'm in Chicago for 2 days, and then on Halloween I got to fly to LA again to wrestle, and then yeah, it's crazy. And then the next week after that I'm in Philly, and then somewhere in New Jersey, and then like Somerville, Massachusetts. I think it's Boston, And
All right.
yeah, so we're all over the place, man. We're all over
All
the
right.
place. That's what we do.
Hey, keep grinding, keep grinding. You're gonna make it, and a lot of guys like being on the independent scene more than they like being, in a WWE setting or something like that. Anyway, but keep grinding,
Yeah,
Steve.
that's
You're
what I
gonna be something big someday. I love watching your matches. We're huge fans. The Corn Belt Cowboy, the one they call Manders, man. It was an honor to talk to you. I'm gonna
Oh, no,
hop
thanks,
on and
guys.
watch some more
Appreciate it.
matches after this.
Yeah, dude, there's some other like streaming services you could watch. You could see some more like stuff, I guess. It's called IWTV.live. It's
Okay.
independent wrestling television, and it's basically like how the network used to be, where it's just a bunch of promotions, throughout the country, all over the world, actually, that put it up on this service. So
Cool. Well,
yeah.
Steve, we're gonna have to do this again sometime, catch up and see how the career's going. But good luck
Yeah,
going
appreciate you,
forward,
Adam.
and we're gonna be watching you, man.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate that.
All right, we'll see you. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks, man.